Hey lads, welcome to my epic ASO commentary thing. For some reason I felt like doing this. I guess I just have some stuff to say about the category. The main thing I want to get across, which I guess I'll do in this initial failed attempt, which is already over, fuck. But anyway, a lot of people complimented my time as being really good. Both times, the 1703 included. And I feel like, while they are pretty good, I wouldn't say that they're as insane as people make them out to be. And I think that has to do with this run structure, where the whole run is basically just a bunch of okay seeds, even in world record. Because it's not something that you can optimize to the extent that you can, say, low percent or any percent. Because you have to go through so many individual seeds, they're not really that, I guess, condensed, and you can't optimize it nearly in the same way as you could a regular run. Oh wow, I feel like... Okay, whatever. But anyway, lads, I'm unprepared for this. So it's not gonna be as good as it could be. It's just, I'm waiting for Carl to start streaming so I can host him, you know, XD. I do want to say there that I fucked up Blackout way too much. It led to a lot of tutorial resets in pretty much all my sessions, which is not very epic, but you know, that's how it be. Also, right there, because I use keyboard, it makes it actually viable to instantly place and pick up that bomb, whereas plebs who use controller because they're subhuman peasants can't really do that effectively. It's not really that much of a time save, but it definitely helps. And without it, I wouldn't have beaten Groom. Lmao. That tutorial was actually really good though. Despite the failed Blackout attempt, which I think if I got Blackout first try, this could have been a gold. It has made it a little bit demoralizing going through tutorial on subsequent runs though, because I'll usually be behind since I'm not basically golding. It's not really anything horrible. And on the topic of demoralizing bad splits, this game's actually unique, where normally in a speed game, if I see I'm behind by like, you know, however much time. By the way, before I get into that, I want to say going here was an absolute mistake. I don't know why I went to the right, but it really do be like that. And there I'm fucking mad online and shaking my cursor at it, which is just tragic. Anyway, this game is special where normally in other speed games, if I see that I'm behind on splits, I'll usually be like, hey, this run isn't worth continuing. Because that just means that I've lost time that I can't really make up. And, you know, technically I could PB in a lot of those cases, but it's just sort of an issue of perfectionism, where I don't want to PB unless it's actually a really good run. But in this game, because it's random, getting a split that isn't, like... I guess the best example is the one rope split here. On my 1703, I got a teleporter, and so the one rope split was really fast. But on this run, I wasn't able to do it as fast, because I didn't get that great levels, and I obviously didn't get a teleporter either. So it ended up losing time, I think around 10 seconds. Maybe it's only 6, I don't actually remember. But that wasn't really that big of an issue for me as I was playing, because you can't expect to match a really good split like that in a random game, especially if it has a teleporter involved. The only way I really could have done that is by getting a sub 30 low percent time, but that's not really something you can count on in a speedrun. Also, I do want to say that that shop I skipped there, while I didn't intentionally skip it, it was probably a good idea, because if you get a shop with like a teleporter or a jetpack that's only one level away from completing the split, it's usually not going to save you any time, since you have to take like however much time robbing the shop. So regardless of whether or not it was intentional, that was a good move on my part. Now, this 10k split was ridiculously good. Maybe not for everyone's standards, but usually you take a significant amount of extra time getting money on this split, which I think is fairly obvious. But this actually ended up being my fastest mines split, and my fastest split aside from the Ice Caves ones, excluding Gold Key. That was kinda convoluted, but I think you get the point. I just got really lucky with dupes and money spawns. It all just worked out really well. Also, that arrow was very much not intentional, but I realized after not getting shot by it that I could still whip it, so that was pretty epic. Now that one I regret a lot. If I had just played slightly slower, especially with a level as good as that one was, then I could have saved some decent time while also making this split faster because I could have played a little bit more recklessly. And it would have just been comforting, I guess. But oh well. It would have also golded, but it's not really that important. I think it would have golded. Also, me shaking my mouse there was actually me thinking that this run was over. I didn't think that I would finish this run at all, because I thought I would die on this split since I had 3 levels to go. In the jungle, no less. And it just didn't really seem feasible with the resources I had. I don't think there's really much else to say about this split as it goes on. So I'm gonna take this time to tell my chat, because I'm streaming this. I'm not gonna be responding to you, because this is supposed to be like a video, so fuck all you. Also, I didn't realize that the pug had died there. I don't know why. Otherwise, I would have thrown the pug down to hit the Tiki Man, which would have been slightly faster than bouncing on him, but I thought I could get extra health from not doing that, so... I can't say it was a bad decision, just a lack of observance on my part. This 2-bomb split was really slow, but I can't really fault myself for that considering my health, again. If I had just used the rope on the 10k split, it would have been fine, but oh well, it's not really a big deal. Especially considering the time I ended up getting. There isn't really much to say about the 2-rope split either. It was a pretty standard one as far as they go for me. They tend to be kinda slow because it's in the jungle and you have to do the reset usually. In all of my runs, pretty much, I do the reset though, because if I have to reset for 2 bombs, I kinda consider it too slow to really continue with. And that's the main thing with this category. I guess now is a good time to talk about this. I think that a fair amount of runners could get world record if they wanted to in this category. Because it's really just a matter of perseverance until you get a run that has, like, pretty good levels, right? And no deaths, of course. You probably could die once, like, very early on in a split, and it wouldn't matter that much, but... you just need to be a perfectionist about it, and pretty much anyone who's maybe like top 15 or top 20 could world record in this category, just by putting the effort in. As I said earlier, it's a lot less optimized due to just how it's structured. Which, you know, it's pretty nice for me. On this split, this is probably the split I guess regret the most, because I got a black market here, which isn't necessarily that slow, but I took a long time on it. Since then, and by that I mean last night, which was also the same night as I got this PB, I saw Kinney's world record, where he robs the black market in a pretty specific way that got him a shotgun early without having to go down here like I did. Which, actually, now that I look at my bomb count, wouldn't really have been that much of a time save, but it definitely would have helped. One other thing I do regret about this, though, is that I used an extra bomb here when I could have just used the Matic 3 times, which I think might have lost me like a second, maybe. But being able to use that extra bomb later on could have saved me that time back and more. Because I could have used it on the mothership at the end. That's the first one that comes to mind. That was a very bad situation. I also got really lucky on this level. I didn't really expect that to lead to the exit, but it ended up doing that, so that was actually pretty nice. I did be, like, extra cautious of the shopkeeper at the end of that level, though. Because I thought he would, like, bounce back from the left, but he just fucking... I don't know where he went. He just disappeared into the ether. These ice caves were kind of a bit worse than I was hoping. But it's not really that big a deal. This level was fine, and aside from the fact that I couldn't bomb into the mothership, 3-4 was also fairly good. It was pretty close to me. I haven't gotten a run since I started doing this again. 2, 3, 4, and actually had the mothership spawn next to me yet. But here's hoping that happens eventually. And that I have the bombs to get in. But even if I didn't, again, it wouldn't really cost that much time at all. As long as I have some way to get up there that isn't ropes. As mentioned before though, this exit was fucking awful. I hated everything about this, and I was not confident that I would survive, but I ended up surviving anyway, which was pretty epic. Again, slower than I would like, but oh well. It was still fairly okay. I think the gold key split is notable because I potentially probably could have saved, like, 20 seconds off of my PB. But because of an unfortunate exit coming up soon, I had to play a bit more carefully and then deal with bees in order to rectify that exit. Which, you know, it's still the first time that bees have really helped me in one of these runs, but it was kind of disheartening having to get their health and then take like 10 years to bomb through because I got a little bit impatient with one of the bombs. Also, it's important to note that me grabbing the cape there is something that I very much agree with doing. And although I did get lucky with this jetpack, that was a really nice toss at the end, by the way. Good shit. But although I did get lucky with a jetpack here, I think grabbing that cape was absolutely worth it, because the time it saves not having to look down or be careful of all that shit is really valuable, especially in a key run. I was, of course, risking a death by shopkeeper, but there are a lot of risks that you have to take in the name of perfectionism and getting a good time that I was perfectly willing to reset for. Which, again, that's what this category comes down to. You just need to reset until you get a good run. There's really nothing else to it. But yeah, that exit was abysmal. You can actually see, I guess I'm gonna go back to show this. You can see me right after I get hit by this bat. I'm spamming the jump button to drop down, but it just did not happen. Because I guess when you get hit, there's like a year where you can't press buttons. These bombs were extremely fortunate, by the way. Without those, I'm pretty sure I would not have PB'd. At least not by nearly as much. Or actually, no, I absolutely wouldn't have PB'd. Maybe not absolutely, but I can be fairly confident. The bees are coming up on 1-4 though. Not 1-4, 2-4. The rest of the jungle I played kind of cautiously, but I still went fairly fast. Because again, I'm stupid. That exit there was kind of scary, but I did position myself well enough to get through without grabbing a ledge, so that worked out fairly well. And I don't know why that jelly flew backwards, like into where the bomb was, but I can't say I'm angry about it. Here's where I got impatient with the bomb, by the way. I technically could have placed it in that little space between the castle tile and the hive tile, but I don't know. I feel like that would have been an unnecessary risk to take. There's nothing to really say about the ice caves. At least not that I remember. I was kind of rushing at this point, and I didn't think that I would be able to PB at this point, because I was kind of slow into the ice caves, and I thought I'd actually be behind my PB's pace for the gold key split, but somehow I pulled through like, I think 4 seconds ahead, somewhere around there. Which, I mean, I'll take it. Yeah, okay, that was 4 seconds, big brain. The temple wasn't bad, but it was far from good. Also, that bomb toss was absolutely stellar. Fucking Bucci. If I had went around instead of using that bomb, I would have had to deal with Anubis there, and I'm not confident that Anubis and a shopkeeper would have ended particularly well. Also, that reposition for the bomb there was probably completely unnecessary, but it happened anyway, so you know. Perfect music timing, by the way. The Risk of Rain song that was just playing, as well as this for the key split in the end, were pretty epic yet again. The last thing I really want to say for this run is that this is the first time I've ever done Olmec with no paste, a jetpack, and more than 6 bombs. Or I guess 6 or more. So I was not confident at all that this would go well. And right here, I thought that because it had exploded and Olmec didn't die, I fucked it up. But somehow I didn't, and I managed to get through. It was also a gold, which I forgot about that, but don't worry. This is fine. And then I turn up the music here, because I felt it was appropriate. The end time of the key run ended up being 3:30, I believe. 3:30.6-ish. Which is pretty good. Yeah, okay, 3:30.47, whatever. I'm pretty happy with the run, but I feel like it could have been better. Anyway, that's all. XD, I don't know how to end this.